Now, the problem I had with this G5 here is that this button here wasn't working right. Like if you pressed it here, it wouldn't click. And the cause is that it got bent up a bit. You can see it's still up a bit there. And I can't fix it directly because if I push it down, it just pops back up. I would desolder it, bend the leads, and resolder it, except the plastic is so close that I can't do that. So I'm going to have to put something on top of the switch so that the casing pushes it down and holds it flat like it's supposed to be to fix it. But while I was in here, I made an interesting little discovery. And that is this switch right here. Clearly, there's a switch here that's not populated. And, well, I decided to test said switch. And the results were interesting. Because in the raw data, I know how to read from this thing what it is in this mode, when it is in its proprietary mode, which is Bluetooth GAT based. When you bridge this, you get a bit, and it's a different bit than you get for any other button on this whole thing. So this is the touchpad click, and the question is, if I put a button here, will it work with this, the way it's shaped? And it is kind of interesting if you look at how this is shaped. This section here rests on the platform, okay. But what is this for? What is that for? And where does it plug in? Well, the cable's just under it, the cable's just under it. So that, a button right here, might be pressed by this tab here. So that's interesting. So I decided I have a broken one here from a mouse. I was just going to check if it fit, and it fits approximately. I mean, there's solder gunk on this, so. But I do have this broken remains of a mouse here with a switch on it. It's not the best switch. I'm going to desolder it, remove as much of the solder as I can, sit it inside these holes here without soldering it in, at least not yet, and try sitting this on it and see what happens. Because if I'm lucky, it'll just work. And they took it out because it was too fiddly or something. Now, the firmware seems to work with it. I tested, like I said, bridging it. But it might not like it on the phone app, but I don't intend to ever really use this with the phone anyway. I got this to write software to make it work with the PC properly. So that's just very interesting.
Now, I did need to grind the posts on the touchpad arm so that it actually can move up and down a little bit because they held it in place so it couldn't go down any, and the lip around the pad prevents the pad from coming up any. So it looks like what they did was they extended the legs when they decided not to add the button.
Okay, now here we are, and it's on, and it's connected, and most importantly, you can hear that click. It's a button now. That's just interesting. I should probably try to get a button that is stronger, like has a stronger resistance, and swap it out for that, because it's just got a cheap mouse button in there at the moment. It just is that form factor. But it is now a button and a pad, but also a button. And like I said, what's weird about this is that this button is an independent button. The data is there. Now I'm running in proprietary mode. You can tell I'm running in proprietary mode because of this right here. I don't have mode 1, mode 2, or the wired only mode 3, especially because when you plug this in, it crashes when you hit the buttons too fast, which is just great. Instead, I'm running in Bluetooth low energy mode, using their custom GAT profile to read the data from the controller. And what's interesting about that is that this little clicker here, let me click it without using something which is conductive, like my hand. This guy has his own bit of data. There it is. Where is it? You see that 4? That 4 right there, that's that button. And there's other data. But that 4, no other button is that 4. Every other button are different bits. So that is a real button. So that's cool.